Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Cinema Coach, and today we're doing a special edition, our first episode in special edition, which is going to be a deep dive into Karate Kid Cobra Kai. Season 3 just came out a few weeks ago, and I wanted to give it some time to settle down. Now that it has, I'm okay with doing spoilers, so spoiler alert, this will be spoilers for Season 3 of Cobra Kai. I mentioned a special edition. What that means is we're going to be diving into each episode separately of Cobra Kai Season 3. This season was by far my favorite, and so there was a ton of stuff in each episode that I want to cover, and I figured I'd do that by doing one episode per video. Stand by for a deep dive into Cobra Kai Season 3, Episode 1, Cinema Coach style. Season 2 ended with Miguel badly hurt, injured from his fight with Robbie. Robbie ran away. Everyone's kind of just dealing with the aftermath of the whole massive school fight. Johnny's obviously blaming himself for what happened to Miguel. He threw his phone away and left the car and everything and just went off on his own into God knows where. Presumably into a bar, which is what we actually discover is what happens. There are two big themes in episode 1 of season 3 that I want to tackle, that I want to hit. And one is actually not what you think it might be. It's dealing with trauma. The trauma that Miguel undergoes and the trauma that Johnny undergoes, and everyone in the situation deals with, especially Sam in this episode. It's really powerful. It's a powerful statement of how to actually deal with it. Now, there's many ways to deal with trauma. There's many ways to deal with traumatic events or what we perceive as trauma. One is to just run away from it and never deal with it. Just keep running away from it and try to avoid it at all costs. That's what Sam does in the beginning of the episode because she doesn't feel like she's ready to deal with facing the people at school or the school itself, because that's where she remembers what happened to Miguel, what happened to her. These are traumatic memories. These are really painful memories, and those kind of locations can trigger those kind of memories for you if you've been through something traumatic at those kind of places. But if you think about it in terms of percentages, if you've been to that place one time and had a traumatic event, that's 100% of the time that you're associated with that place with that traumatic event. Every time you go to that place, each time you go there, you reduce the amount of reminder the trauma has to you of that place because you create new associations. And that percentage of the time that you've been there, say, goes from 1, which is 100%, to 10. Now it's only down to 10% of the time you associated with that trauma. Often that can be enough to kind of reduce that trauma and slowly, over time, build up resistance to that trauma and the effect it has on you. Eventually, this is what Sam does. She pushes herself to go back to school, to face everyone and stand up to her bullies, to stand up to people and the place, and really take her place again in school and start dealing with the trauma head on. That's another way to deal with it, is to deal with it head on. It reminds me of the stoic mentality of the obstacle is the way. For some people, trauma is very painful and very difficult to deal with. I wouldn't say necessarily you have to deal with it by yourself. Therapists, coaches, friends, mentors, they can all help you through traumas if you let them. You can also opt to deal with it on your own, which is to do so in a very methodical and intentional way. One way to do that is to just build up resistance to it. This is also illustrated by Miguel. Even though he's in a coma for the entire episode, he's still fighting his own fight, dealing with his own demons internally. The episode is actually really well done in terms of the way that it portrays Miguel's struggle. It's all internal. He's fighting a fight. He's fighting in a tournament, a karate tournament. Shocker, it's Cobra Kai. And he keeps doing this, and he's fighting for his life, essentially. And eventually, he does wake up. Spoiler alert, obviously. He does wake up, but only because he kept fighting, only because he kept pushing himself. And ultimately, Johnny, his sensei, the person who has a very, very big impact on his life, who means a lot to him, and who he looks up to, his words ring through his head as he talks to him at his bedside. And that's the other part of things, which is taking control, taking ownership of who you are and what you want to do, and just being you, being okay being what you are, being okay with being the odd man out sometimes, or being the odd woman out in this case with Sam, and taking control of your life the way Miguel does. Even though Miguel's fight is not a physical one, it's all mental, it's all in his head. It's going to be some of the most difficult and powerful fights to win and to endure, and he does exactly that. What happens later on in the season, which we'll talk about in that episode, is that actually carries on to even when he wakes up. But that's one of the bigger ones to deal with in this episode, It was kind of more of an introductory episode, kind of rehashing some of the past. But the biggest takeaway from this episode is really about dealing with trauma and how to effectively deal with it, and how to not be afraid of pushing yourself. Slowly, take baby steps, do what you need to do, but dealing with the discomfort that comes with some of that sometimes, with facing things head on and not running away from it. Because when she runs away from it, she's going to be running for her entire life. Hope you guys enjoyed the video today. If you did, please hit like button, hit subscribe, hit the bell to get notified of future videos, and let me know what other videos you want me to do for Cobra Kai or for Cinema Coach in general. TV series I'm doing also, obviously, because Cobra Kai is one of those. I'm probably going to jump in and do some anime stuff as well later on, because there's a lot of deep philosophy in anime. I'm a huge nerd, as you know, so I'm talking about that as well. But stay tuned. Hope you guys enjoyed the content, and please let me know what more you want to see. Did this episode resonate for you? If it did, please comment below. Let me know what you thought, and let me know how you tend to deal with things, difficult or otherwise. Let us know. Take care. Stay safe. See you next time.